I looked up to him in many ways and felt like we had a special bond, and I had no intention of it turning into something romantic. Because my abuser said to me, I could kill you right now. Don't chase the dead. My story was powerful enough. Victim of domestic violence. Victim of domestic violence.
Allegations against former boyfriend Marilyn Manson.
More details about the alleged abuse she experienced from Marilyn Manson.
Was there a first step of like, oh, this doesn't feel right?
He's a predator. Everyone was looking at Marilyn Manson and they weren't looking at Brian Warner.
So if you thought the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation was interesting, you're going to find the story that I have for you to be pretty fascinating.
I can't be silent about this because that's not what happened.
He has always maintained his innocence. He basically said Evan Rachel Wood orchestrated this entire thing. There was even, by the way, at one point, an FBI document that was forged, verifiably forged. And he alleges that she used that FBI document, which was forged, and he believes that she and her team forged it, to get other women to pressure them into saying that he did things.
And now earlier today, it's been revealed that Ashley Smithline has recanted her allegations against Manson and has accused Evan Rachel Wood of manipulating her into making these allegations that she says were false against Manson.
His accuser recanted, and not just recanted, but claims that a woman, Evan Rachel Wood, manipulated her to do it in the first place.
Some screenshots that have been released where another accuser, Ashley Morgan Smithline, admits that she was told to falsely accuse Manson.
Speech! 2024 is going to be our year.
Everyone drop everything you're doing. The king is back. I repeat, the king is back. Composure. Composure. Everything is fine. You know, being a Marilyn Manson fan is difficult. Although, if I'm perfectly honest, that kind of makes it even more appealing to me, especially nowadays. And considering the fact that I am also a Christian, it makes it even more difficult because some people, for whatever reason, just cannot wrap their head around that concept. Like this guy. Several months ago, I did a podcast about the return of Marilyn Manson, and the top comment was, "A Republican Christian who hasn't ever smoked a cigarette? How are you a Manson fan?" Well, gee, I don't know. Maybe it has to do with the fact that I'm a multifaceted human being with a wide range of beliefs and interests. You should try it sometime. Now, a couple years ago, I made a video where I ranked each of Marilyn Manson's albums in order from my least favorite to my favorite. And in that, I went into detail about how I became a Marilyn Manson fan, so I'm not going to rehash that. If you want to see that, then the link to the video will be down in the description below. That video has over 7,000 views, which for me is crazy, so I can't thank everyone enough who watched that video. And as well as the totally awesome podcast episode I did about the return of Marilyn Manson. So, oh, and also, since that time, I now also have an Eat Me, Drink Me ring, and this, a Marilyn Manson Funko Pop. Why do I have this? Because it's hilarious to me that it even exists. Now, I do want to go back a little bit to around 2020, 2021, right around the time when Manson's most recent album came out, We Are Chaos. I was still a newly christened Mansonite, so the idea of a new album debuting was the coolest thing ever to me. I remember staying up all night when the full album dropped and listening to it all the way through until about 2 to 3 in the morning, and it was glorious. I didn't get any sleep that night, but it was worth it. In my opinion, it's one of the best albums he's ever made, and the best work he's done in over a decade at the time. Unfortunately, the album was barely even out of the oven before the allegations surfaced and nearly ended his career. And for a time, I truly believed that We Are Chaos was Marilyn Manson's swan song. And I had just become a fan as well, so it was a gut punch. Sure, I could still enjoy his older stuff, but there was an undeniable dark cloud hanging over everything associated with him. And it sucked. And even outside of the allegations, Manson himself looked to be in rough shape around this time. I became a fan of his in 2018 when he was arguably at his worst. When I think of Marilyn Manson, I pictured the iconic lunatic of the late 90s and early 2000s who was so full of energy and chaos. The Manson of 2018 and the years before and the years after, as much as I love the guy, and I mean no disrespect, was not the same guy. Bad live performances, slurred line delivery, the bloated appearance, and recorded videos of him vomiting on stage and having to be dragged off to the back, and the one of him accidentally knocking over his own set and breaking his leg. If this was my first impression of the guy, I don't know if I would have even been interested. I wanted the shock rocker, the Antichrist superstar that struck fear into the hearts of the easily offended. Not this broken shell of what once was. This Manson was a faded echo, as much as I don't like admitting. Now, before anyone gets mad at me, I just want to say I'm not trying to shame the guy. What I'm saying, and what I thought at the time, came more out of a feeling of concern. And honestly, if he didn't completely turn things around, there's a good chance that he would not have lived all that much longer, because again, he looked to be in very, very rough shape. And honestly, again, I thought that 2021, that was it. That, where are you? I thought that this was it. I thought this was the last we were ever going to hear from the guy. And then 2024 hit like a nuclear warhead. Now, as far as this video goes, I want to give my thoughts on his triumphant return thus far. Now, I won't go into much detail as far as the allegations that were made against him by she who shall not be named and her co-conspirators, as I feel that they do not deserve a mention. If you want more information as to the case against them and for Manson, I highly recommend you check out Colonel Kurtz on YouTube, as she has multiple videos dedicated to debunking #MeToo hoaxes, with Manson's case being the most predominant. She's absolutely incredible in her dissection of the false claims levied against Manson, so definitely go check her out if you haven't already. And she even got to meet him at one of his recent comeback shows, and I'm not jealous at all. Not at all. Do I look jealous? Who's saying that I'm jealous? Who is saying that I'm jealous? I need names, numbers, and addresses. There were rumors and conjectures at first, but then I saw this photo. A comparison between Manson from 2003 and today. And let me tell you, my jaw hit the floor. He looks so much better. I honestly could not believe my eyes when I saw this. And then I found out that he had been sober for several years by that point, and man, I couldn't be happier for the guy. But then, May 15th happened. Manson had signed a contract with Nuclear Blast Records, and a new album was on its way. The hype at this time was unreal. What would come out? Would it be reminiscent of his early 90s stuff? Or would it be new? Would it be a direct assault against his accusers like Hollywood was in 2000? The speculation grew day after day until finally, we got our first single on August 2nd, As Sick as the Secrets Within. Although technically the day before I found a link to the song on Reddit and I was directed to this website, and I'm pretty sure every time I clicked on anything here, a brand new virus was downloaded to my laptop. Yay me. But yeah, As Sick as the Secrets Within made its official debut and was unlike anything I had expected. In my humble opinion, As Sick as the Secrets Within and its accompanying music video are absolutely incredible. Like, again, I was expecting a very angry just outburst of screw the accusers, how dare you, I'm gonna f you up. I was expecting that, which we got later. I'll get to that in a second. But I was not expecting As Sick as the Secrets Within. It was an anti-drug song, a song about him battling addiction. I did not expect that. I was not expecting that at all. And it honestly was eerily reminiscent of Mechanical Animals. My favorite Marilyn Manson album of all, and my favorite album, period, of all time. And it was eerily reminiscent of that. It sounded a little bit like it with some other industrial stuff put in, and some new stuff as well. But thematically, and what the song was trying to say, it almost felt like a sequel to Coma White, in a way. Because that's probably it was his most anti-drug song. And now this, I believe, is his most anti-drug song, anti-alcohol, anti-addiction song. And me, as a teetotaler, someone who has never had a sip of alcohol in his entire life, someone who's never done drugs, someone who's never smoked before, someone who sees these vices as one of the reasons why America is in the sad, awful, depressing state it is in today is because of these things. I blame a lot of what's wrong in this country on addiction to alcohol and addiction to drugs and addiction to cigarettes. So my favorite musician coming out with a song about that, an absolute match made in heaven. I could not be happier. This is one of my favorite songs of his, and it might just be recency bias a little bit, but God, I love this song. It is so perfect. But we weren't done yet. Oh, we were not done yet. 2 weeks later, we got Raise the Red Flag. Now this is more of what I was expecting. You knew he was not just going to sit there and take it. It's totally not his style. But he came out with Raise the Red Flag, and it was an absolute banger.
After banger! After banger! After banger!
I like As Sick as the Secrets Within more, personally, because I feel it's more metaphorical and thematic and more different. Raise the Red Flag is more of what you would expect from Manson, but it's still very good. It is obviously a huge middle finger to She Who Shall Not Be Named and her cohorts, and it's glorious. It is glorious. And there were some people who were complaining about the music video not being as creative and rich as the previous music video, As Sick as the Secrets Within. I was fine with it because I think that this music video's intention was Manson saying, I'm back, here's my band, we're rocking and rolling whether you like it or not. I feel like that was the intent behind the music video. And in my opinion, it worked. And again, he looks so healthy. He's so skinny. He's so slender. And he has so much energy, and his voice sounds great. Although, I do have one tiny little critique of Raise the Red Flag. During the second verse, they kind of went a little crazy with the auto-tune a little bit. I feel like if they would have dialed back on that just a tad, it would have been better. But that's just me. It doesn't ruin the song or anything like that. I still think it's a great song. I just do think they could have dialed back on the auto-tune just a little bit. And again, I feel like As Sick as the Secrets Within is the better song between the two, but I love both. And also, the single Raise the Red Flag came out on a CD, a limited time only CD, that only about 3,000 people were able to get. And on that CD was another song called Front Toward Enemy. Now, someone ripped it and put it on Reddit, which led to my favorite website ever, TikTok. And I did listen to it. It's the ripped version, so I imagine the actual version sounds better. But holy crap! Front Toward Enemy is also magnificent. It completely blew my hair back. It sounds a lot like Little Horn. It has very much the same energy as Little Horn, and I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. It looks like he's reaching back to several other eras while interjecting and intersplicing something new with each one. And hey, I approve. I love how this is sounding so far. God, I just want the new album already. I want the new album so bad. I need it in my veins. Now, of course, not everyone is happy that Marilyn Manson is back. I mean, you knew there would be some party poopers in the mix, but apparently there's a group of feminists that are trying to organize protests for Marilyn Manson shows, which... Oh, honey. You ain't the first ones to try that shit. It didn't work back in the late 90s and the 2000s. It's probably not going to work now, but it's adorable that you're trying. But my favorite reaction to this has got to be just the absolute wailing and gnashing of teeth and just the tearing of garments over there at Metal Sucks. These losers. Metal Sucks, which is a stupid name for a news outlet, quote-unquote, that covers metal in the first place, has been in complete meltdown mode over Manson's return. They do nothing but write article after article bashing the guy and calling him a rapist and a groomer despite the fact that there's no evidence of it. The peak of the hilarity, though, was when they polled their own audience as to whether or not Manson deserves a second chance, and the result was a resounding yes. So then, they wrote another article where they were so salty about the result. These people are nothing more than loser ideologues who only care about their devotion to the believe all women religion, even if some women are proven liars. I guess that means that any woman who has ever failed a polygraph test should sue the polygraph test and the people who made them for slander. Metal Sucks would definitely approve of such a course of action. And at the same time, Marilyn Manson was back on tour supporting Five Finger Death Punch, a band that I know next to nothing about. But hey, they gave Marilyn Manson a helping hand when he needed it, so I won't complain about that. And while his first live performance back was good, he sounded a tad rusty, I won't lie, but he's been out of it for a long time. He hasn't done a live performance in a long time, so I was willing to cut him some slack. However, in the following shows, he just sounded better and better and better, and as of late has been turning in nothing short of incredible performances day in and day out. Long gone are the days of an inebriated, disinterested Manson awkwardly stumbling around the stage, as he now looks focused, energized, and honestly, as if he's having the absolute time of his life. I could not be happier for the guy. Each show is a sellout, and even his new singles are big hits right now, amassing nearly 6 million views on YouTube at the time of this recording combined, as well as reaching the #1 spot on the Billboard Hard Rock Digital Song Sales Chart. You love to see it. So, in conclusion, I'm so happy that my boy Marilyn Manson is back, and he looks and sounds better than ever. Seriously, he looks like decades younger. Even like his biceps, like during some of his live shows, he'll flex every once in a while. He's got some biceps. Manson hitting the gym, honestly, is a funnier visual than Manson having a Funko Pop doll. Just, what a strange timeline we find ourselves in, but yeah, those are my thoughts on the comeback for the ages for Marilyn Manson. What are your thoughts on this development? Oh, and also, when the album drops, it still has not been named yet, but when it drops, I will do a review of it on this channel, and I will update my ranking as far as my Marilyn Manson albums from least favorite to favorite, because again, that video is a couple of years old. I will update that. Also, on Super Jam Session version 2, me and my buddy Sean are also going to do a podcast review of the album when it drops. Also, I had him listen to Mechanical Animals while he was working out at the gym the other day. I have successfully converted him. So me and him are probably going to do a podcast talking about Mechanical Animals sometime in the future, but that again will be on Super Jam Session version 2. Again, link will be in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Please do whatever you can to support Marilyn Manson. I'm so happy he's back, and I do believe that he deserves a second chance. No matter what the losers over at Metal Sucks say, I believe that he deserves another shot at this. And Marilyn Manson, I know you're never going to watch this video, but if by some chance you find it somewhere, somehow, thank you for all the amazing music and the entertainment that you've given us for over the several decades that you've been doing this. I very much approve of and support your decision to be sober and healthy. Please keep that up, and I cannot wait for this album to come out. And maybe one day, maybe one day, I'll actually get to go to a concert. That would be pretty rad. I would love that. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys next time. I'm gonna go listen to it again.
They cannot take me from you, but they sure as fuck can't take you from me. Get together!